Welcome to another podcast here from Men Behind the Mitts, episode 71 rolling out for you guys. If you guys are returning or a first-time listener, welcome back to the show. I am your host, Big J. My co-host right here, Silk. Say hi to everyone out there, Silky.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back.
Welcome back indeed. We've got one hell of an episode lined up for you guys. We go over the 75 hard challenge that we've taken on ourselves here. And we have an absolute beauty for a guest. We've got Anthony from Bladetech joining us again on this pod. And let me tell you, it's a great interview. We touch on a lot of hockey. Hockey's back, guys. We are excited. Preseason's rolling. Season's around the corner. No more delays. Fire it off, Phil. Underway. Man, it's good to be here. Happy to see you. What is up, brother?
What's up, man?
I feel like we got so much to talk about, and I just want to jump right into it. We officially started 75 hard. I'm a day behind. I'll put that out there right now. I didn't get to start on Monday like I wanted to. There was some technical difficulties, and by technical difficulties, I mean I packed my gym bag, but only my shoes and a towel. Forgot shorts, a shirt, and everything. So I literally pulled up at the gym. I was like, all right, I got off work. I was like, all right, I'm going to go to the gym before class. And I like walk. I'm like, all right. I was like, why does my bag feel so light? And I opened my bag and I was like, congratulations. You played yourself.
You played your what?
Pretty upset about it. Even my gym, it was funny as shit how it always happens like that. Like the guy I've been going to the gym with, he's a guy I work with. And we just go like in between because we both have class on the same day.
Mm-hmm.
And I literally called him. I was like, man, today's a bust. I was like, forgot everything, grabbed my bag and my shoes, but I can't work out in jeans. Then I have to sit through this class for 4 hours. Like I cannot sit in sweaty ass jeans that long. And he was like, that's good. Cause I forgot all my shit too. Like we totally fumble fucked today. And I was like, yeah, today is a rough Monday, but anywho, today's Tuesday. We always record on Tuesdays. I know you're technically 2 days in. I'm 1 day in. How do you feel? I mean, I just feel great accepting the challenge. You know what I mean? Like that alone for me was a good boost, but where you at? How you feeling?
Well, if you remember last episode, I was talking about how I had gone like almost a week and a half, 2 weeks without working out.
Right.
So this was like a really good way to get back in it and force I feel great, dude. I'm waking up for my alarm already. I'm already seeing changes in like attitude.
Yeah.
Which comes though, like I've experienced, it's not nothing I've never experienced before. Like
right.
When you start working out, like you have a better attitude, you feel better. You know, you're a chippier, happier person essentially.
Yeah, lifting weights is like considered barbaric, but it's so enlightening. You know what I mean? Like it's so enlightening, and I can tell already that your attitude's different just from us texting about it. My attitude, I feel like. I've been riding this line again, you know, of comfort and breaking out of that zone. And I feel like one day the couch looks awfully good. And then the next day I walk past the bench in the squat rack. And I'm like, I'll be right back. You know, like I'll be right back to see you. Let me just go change and I'll be right back out. Mm-hmm. And that's how I've been the same way on and off for like 2-3 weeks again, like working out 3, maybe 4 days a week max. And I was like, this isn't going to cut it. I was like, you're getting ready to jump into this, balls to the wall, 2-a-days, son. I haven't done 2-a-days since Thomas Stone football. Okay.
Ooh, yeah,
like straight up.
So why don't you, for anyone that's not familiar with what's going on or first time listener, why don't you break down what we're doing for the next 75 days?
Yep. Let me pull this up real quick. So 75, this is called the 75 hard. Big shout out to Katie. She's the one who put me onto this. She just completed her 75 hard. Awesome results. But the besides the physical results, you can see the mental aspect of it on her face. Like she's happier. You know, and I look at their photos and I'm like, you look happier. And, you know, I'm always commenting like, congratulate, like you did such a great job. Like this isn't easy. So this is called 75 hard for a fucking reason. Okay. Like it's not 75 mediocre. It's not 75 easy. This is 75 days of discipline and commitment. All right. That's all it is. To me, that's all it is. This is discipline and commitment. It's not because, and this is what's crazy is so jumping in, let me read the rules for 75-day hard real fast. So 75 hard real quick. Here are the rules. 2 45-minute workouts. So you got to get a 2 a day. And there used to be a rule that the workouts had to be within 3 hours of each other, but they eliminated that. So it's just 2 workouts in one 24-hour period, right? And the day is 12 to 12. Like that's the day. There's no, well, I worked out tonight, I'm going to work out first thing tomorrow morning. No, it is, you know, 12 to 12. That's your window, you know? And so 2 45-minute workouts. One workout must be outdoors, which is pretty wild because I ran 25 minutes in the rain an hour ago. Like straight up, I ran 25 minutes in track. I went out and got new running shoes Sunday, trashed them. So I got them all taken apart and ready to dry out. Okay, so one workout must be outdoors. Third one, follow a diet. Any diet of you can do Jenny Craig, you can do whatever you want inside of this program. This program is a mental program more than anything, in my opinion. So you get to do whatever diet you want, no alcohol, no cheat meals. Must drink 1 gallon of water a day. You have to read 10 pages of a nonfiction book and take notes. So you have to read it, retain it, write about it. So that's awesome to me. And then take a progress picture every single day. So that's it. 7 things. 7 things.
I slightly modified it.
Okay. So let's do this. I modified mine as well. So what did you modify on yours? Like, what did you want to challenge yourself extra?
2 things. I don't write about the book. I don't take notes about the book, but I do journal because I read a lot that journaling
just as important.
Yeah. So after I read and right before I go to bed, I journal. I put my thoughts down about what pissed me off that day, what made me want to work harder that day, what I'm expecting from the next day, and you know, blah, blah, blah. And then my second thing is, if you don't know, I'm not smoking and it's not a cigarette. I'm not a cigarette guy. So if you don't know,
so 100% sober.
I'm 100% sober. No, if I have any stress, anxiety, anything like that, I'm gonna try to figure it out all on my own. So
yeah,
we'll see how it goes. But that's the only 2 things I modified. Only 2 things.
Why do I have a hand up on my screen? Why does that?
It says you.
That is never. Oh, probably because I went like this because like just to like talk about the pod. Okay. So 100% sober and journaling. So you sub the notes for journaling, which I think is more than acceptable. I actually talked to Laura last night. She was like, you should try journaling and just write down like your thoughts and how you feel about your day. And I was like, that's a fantastic idea because that's something where it's kind of hold yourself accountable as well. You know, if you write about your day, if you lie to yourself, you're not going to get anywhere, which is why I'm on day 1 today and you're on day 2. Because we posted
as males, we know this mental health is a big deal with males because we don't have girlfriends, and I say girlfriends and referring to women and their friends. We don't have girlfriends to run and go talk to. And even if we do have friends that we're close to, like me and you are pretty close and we've gone into deep conversation, but there's still going to be that little bit of wall that we hold to one another, that we don't let everything out. And that's just how males work. And I'm hoping journaling will let me get rid of that shit that I'm just holding on to, that extra little baggage that's just sitting there at the bottom.
Where you just can't tell. Like you just don't want to tell people. You just because
that way I can get it off my fucking chest and get it out there, put it on paper, and I can reread it. And then I'm already 10 pages deep in the journaling, and I've gone back to like 3 or 4 pages and just like reread what I wrote, and it's just like,
wow.
Yeah, exactly. So being able to reflect back on who I was 5 days ago and see where I'm at, instead of just like, I think about 5 days ago I was feeling good. Like, no, I can go back and wow, I was feeling like this, and I'm not feeling like that at all anymore.
That's a good idea. I think I want to commit to the journaling as well. I'm a cop a journal this weekend or whatever. I just got to grab one. I think that's a good idea. Because I actually downloaded the 75 Hard app. Quick shout out to them. They have an app. It's available. It's on the App Store. It is $4.99, $5. I said, look, you're not having cheat meals. There's your cheat meal, bucko. $4.99 for an app that is going to help me track every single day. And I'm going to show you guys the app real fast. So it's pretty simple. This is the app. It's 75 Hard, 75 days. You complete the day, the number turns red. Pretty fucking simple. And the rules are right there at the bottom in case you forget. They're right there. And you do a little progress. You post your progress picture. Oh my gosh. You post your progress picture in the app. So the app is there to, to help you with that. So basically, like, this is the kind of thing that it does. Like, it shows right here, day 1, first workout, done. Second workout, done. Take a progress picture, done. The only thing I haven't done is read. It's the only thing I haven't done yet, which I'm going to do after the pod tonight.
Which I'm excited to touch on after a text at 5 a.m. this morning.
Dude.
That, like, I woke up and read that and I like had a straight like smile on my face.
Yeah. So I saw like you posted, you had your, I was upset because I didn't post anything with whatever, the whistleblowing stuff going on with Facebook and Instagram. We're going to talk about that later too. So Instagram, Facebook was down the other day. Basically the United States was at a standstill. It was a fucking tragic day. And, and I was like, whatever, like, and then with everything that happened, I was like, damn, I was like, Jesse's over here posting like he got like a video already. I was like, damn, I was like, he's really on top of this shit. I was like, I need to learn how to do the reels so I can make videos faster. So that's one thing. And then, I was like, you posted your book, The Art of War. And I was like, bro, that was the first book I grabbed when I walked in the Books A Million the other day. Like, I was like, I saw the book in the suede cover. Yeah, mine's in my bedroom right now, but you got it, right? Yeah, in the suede. Yeah, dude.
Nice, fancy.
Yeah. So I'm so excited to read this book on top of that, because I can't remember if I heard it on a podcast or if someone told me face to face, but they were like, every man needs to read The Art of War. Like, if you can't conquer your own mind, you can't conquer jack shit. And even though this is The Art of War, how to take down an enemy, a lot of times the enemy is your own self.
And I'm only in a few pages, obviously, but you can apply this shit to different things. Yeah. Like just, it says enemy, but if you look at enemy as, let's say, a competitor and what you're doing, let's say sales, you're in sales and, the guy, across the desk from you is beating you and getting all your sales. You can do things without being malicious or, there's yes, this is a good book so far. I'm already 10 pages in and I'm learning things.
Yeah, I'm really excited to start reading this one. I've got 7 books here at the house. I got them all this weekend. And 75 Hard, Andy, the guy who runs the program, Andy Frisella, actually wrote a book on the 75 Hard. So I ordered that as well. Nice. I really wanted to start with that one, but I ordered a little late. It'll be here midweek. So I think I'm going to jump into that one next. I'm going to finish Art of War. Then I'm going to jump right into that one. But really, honestly, man, I've never been much of a reader. I've never grabbed a book and be like, I'm just going to go read. Like, that's not me. Like, that is, I'm going to go grab a stick and shoot pucks, or I'm going to go
even to learn something. I won't like, oh, let me go read this document or this article. Like, I'm quick to go watch a video and let someone explain it.
Yes. I'm very visual. And even with my job, like, it's funny. Like, I'm in school now and I'm not a reader. Like, I stopped buying textbooks 3 years ago. Pretty simple. I'll just throw that out there. Okay. I stopped fucking buying textbooks for school because they're just, they're not needed. You know what I mean? Like, I can figure it out. And like, I'll be at work, and if there's something that I'm unsure of, YouTube is so gold. Like, YouTube has saved me on a job site, working like on a motor or a pump, and being like, how the fuck do I fix? Like, how does this come apart? So I literally Google model number, serial number, put it right in YouTube, and someone has an instructional video on how to change this, how to change that. And it's like, this is perfect. Like, this is perfect. This is how it should be. We're a giant community. You know what I mean? It's how it really should be at the end of the day. But I'm really hoping that reading even ignites the little bit of, there's a little flame in there, because I am excited to read these books, so I'm hoping this little flame gets turned into a bigger flame and I continue reading. And my long-term goal is a book a month, just long-term goal, book a month. And I don't have to buy them. Chick's got basically a library already, you know what I mean? But I do like the nonfiction rule. I'm into, it's gotta be nonfiction. So it's gotta be a real book, an educational book. It can be financial literacy. I grabbed a couple of those. I know we already talked about that as well. One book I got is it's literally the history of the United States, and it's fucking fat. And it's like cool, fun facts that you never knew you needed to know. So like, I'm real excited to dive into that one, because me and you I'm into history. Like, sometimes I'll just catch a documentary and here I am learning about, Germans again. It's like, it's crazy. I really do enjoy the history. So not only, I'm really excited for the physical change in my life, but I'm really, really excited for the mental change in my life. And I plan on just tackling this thing head on. You know what I mean? I just can't wait. 75 days. That's nothing. Like, I was already thinking about it. I was like, damn, if you do this program twice in a year, that's only 150 days. dude, you can do this program 3 times in a year, 4 times in a year. Not 4 times, that's too many, but
so
3 times for sure.
Saying that actually leads me into a question I had for you. Is what do you expect to get from this? And I'll answer the own question first to kind of give you a vibe of where I was thinking. I hope you say doing this twice. I'm thinking I want this shit to be set in stone. Like,
yeah,
I want to hit day 76 and not even think it's day 70. And I just want it. And you were talking about learning how to do the reels and stuff. And that goes back to just, I don't want to just accomplish these set rules. I want this shit to grow and blossom and affect so many things. And like we were texting earlier, I was like, dude, if I'm going to post these pictures on my personal account, this is definitely going to help me grow my personal account as well on as far as social media goes. And there's just going to be so many different little lanes. And like the books, we're talking about nonfiction. I picked up real estate books. I'm going to learn how real estate's one of the things, my next games I want to jump into. So there's so many different things where this is going to help me grow to where when day 76, 77 comes, it's no longer me in a self-development or personal growth challenge. That's my life now. If I can make that happen, like I'd be really excited for real.
So listen, I want you to know that I support that 110%. And the general at the helm here, Andy Facilla, I hope I'm saying his last name right. He is on day 600.
Nice.
And he has missed 8 days out of 600 days.
Nice. And I'm glad you said that, because in the back of my mind, I was like, it's going to be hard to have a certain type of lifestyle without forcing everyone else around you to change, or you're going to have moments where, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not going to go on vacation with my family and we're all out, grabbing little man and ice cream. I'm just going to sit there and drink a water. Like, I might have a couple bites of ice cream with them and enjoy that moment. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I think there's a big key, commit to the 75, do your 75. And that's what's great about this. It's almost like you can do your 75 and then take a month off. And by take a month off, I don't mean fully revert to your old habits. What I mean is you're going to conquer your new habits, because those are habits. You just did 75 days. You know what I mean? These are all going to be new habits. They're going to stick because you're going to love the way you feel. You're going to love the way you look. You're going to have the energy. You're going to have the drive. And so you do go get ice cream. You have a couple bites. Just get a small. You know what I mean? Like, this is the thing. And this is something that I always revert back to. We live in a place we live in a country where gluttony is a good thing. Where, they've got the 8 ounce. Let me just get the 24. I'll just get the 24 ounce because
$1 more.
Exactly. That's what it is. It's the convenience factor. The convenience factor of, let me just upsize this for a quarter. It's worth the value. You know what I mean? So, and that's where, to me, eliminating eating out is probably the second easiest thing on this list. Like, yes, I will go out and eat out, but that's something that's not a priority. It never has been, because I know I can make better food here. Not all the time. Okay, let's pump the brakes. I know I can make killer meals here. And so does my girl. My girl is in the last couple of years, we got those Hello Fresh boxes. And now she can pretty much conquer any meal, just by following the directions and
cooking
trying.
At home too, man. There's love and energy put into it. Not some guy in the back just making the third time that day the same meal.
Right.
That's why I love home cooked meals. That's why I have no problem. That's how we do it. I don't have to meal prep. We make one big dinner. I take leftovers for the next day. I believe in energy and vibes. We've talked about this shit before.
Absolutely.
So that shit goes into your water. That shit goes into your food. So if your wife's pissed off making dinner, like, it's not going to be as good as if she's in there listening to music, jamming,
dancing.
Exactly. And that's like real talk. I've noticed it. Like, because, eventually you have the same repeat meals and they're not always.
Yeah, there's only so much food, right?
She was texting the whole time with her mom about some dumb shit. Whereas, she had music playing, had a glass of wine, and was cooking. Yeah. So that's a biggie. You don't get that when you go out to eat.
And I agree. And that's something that is big, because when I, like tonight, so I'm like, this is a perfect transition to diet, because I kind of wanted to ask you what your diet plan is. Mine's pretty simple. I'm jumping back onto my fasting, 16 off, 8 on, which is great. And with the 8, I only consume 3 meals. So I consume my breakfast, or it's lunch, but it's breakfast for most people at the time I eat. So I eat my lunch, which is a veggie, no carbs, and protein, usually 6 or 8 ounces of chicken and or steak, depending on what I'm doing here. So, I'm not limiting myself. I'm not having salads only or whatever. But the hard part for me is that I am telling myself, you get lunch, you get dinner, and you get one snack at 2 or 3 o'clock. That's like when I get off work. So, you get in that lull of the day, you kind of need a little boost. And I've been taking the Smart Pop popcorn. I bought some bags of the Smart Pop popcorn. I put a little Ziploc bag in there, 2 cups of it, 100 calories. That's my snack. So literally and this is something I was amazed. I texted you this morning because I started the diet, quote unquote, yesterday. And in a 24-hour period, I had only consumed 3 meals. Like, and not even like I had a lunch, a dinner, and a snack in 24 hours. Like, that's all that I had. And I already felt less bloated, less like congestion, if that makes sense. Like, my chest didn't feel heavy. My energy level is already up. Day 2, my energy level is already high because I'm not wasting that time processing food every 4, every 2, every 3 hours. I'm not constantly grabbing a snack or whatever. And to me, that's a mental aspect because I do have, obviously I'm overweight, so I do have a food problem. Like, I like food, I like snacks, of course. Who doesn't? You know what I mean? So, and to me, that's mind over matter. Just don't do it. And if you do it, you start over. And that's the part about having the app to me, because when I said, because it asked me, because I didn't fill out all of day 1 this morning, like I wasn't completed with it. When I opened the app this morning to say that I started my day, the first question asked, did you fail day 1? That was the question, because the app knew I didn't type everything. I didn't post a picture. I didn't check off all the boxes. The app said, did you fail day 1? And it says yes in red. It says, yes, I failed, or it says, no, I made a mistake. So I hit, yes, I failed. Yes, I failed. I accept that I failed the day. I didn't get to complete what I needed to complete. And this is all the accountability. Failure is not a negative thing. People have to remove that from their mind. Failure is not a negative thing at all. If anything, it can be a fucking thrust into succeeding. Yeah. And you know that as an entrepreneur starting a business and tackling all this, one little step back does not mean it's game over.
No, if you want, it's lessons, not losses, or there's so many different ways to look at it. If you fall down, if you can look up, you can get up, or if for the hunters out there, compound bow, arrow can't go forward without pulling it back.
Right.
There's so many different ways of going about it. But yeah, you're right. The fact that you didn't cheat yourself though, that's huge.
Yes,
you could have just had no mistake taking a photo real quick and put it on there, but you knew internally you'd be cheating yourself, and that's it.
And I won't lie.
No one else is going to give a fuck, and no one probably gives a fuck that we're doing this.
Bingo. But actually, there's a lot of people that give a fuck. Like, there's a lot.
But you know what I mean. You know what I mean.
No one want to see you fail. People want to see us fail this, and not in like, man, those fucking assholes. Just because, and you saw it on, and I love the guy. I'm shouting him out, Mark Price. Commented on the Facebook status, man, I could never do that. And the
wrong time of the year, Christmas and Thanksgiving.
The first thing I thought is, with that fucking attitude, you're not getting shit done. Yeah. You're not doing nothing, Bubba.
That shit didn't even cross my mind, honestly.
Not one bit. I looked at this challenge and I was like, here's the cool thing. Half this list I already do.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And that's when and that was kind of a good little boost. I was like, damn, I'm already on the right fucking path, bud. And I haven't even started. So it was adding the second workout, and that every day, I already did the gallon of water. That's cake. I usually hammer down like a gallon and a half, 2, especially doing 2 workouts, bro. That's going to be not a problem. The outdoor thing's really exciting. But anywho, I won't lie to you. I almost lied. And I looked at, and I had my thumb over the button, bro. I was like this. I was like, no one's going to know except for me.
You'll know.
And if I can't look myself in because I already felt guilty. I couldn't even look at myself in the mirror. I was like, don't you fucking press that button. Like, this is wrong. You know what I mean? Like, I knew this was wrong, and I failed. I accepted failure because look, my attitude's already turned around from that failure, because I don't want to hit that fucking button again. Like, I'm not hitting that I failed button again, bro. That was it.
That's also a good thing about failing. If you're really dedicated about it and you do have a fall or a setback, if you're serious about it, you're going to learn quick from that mistake, because you don't want to go through it again.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Starting over. That's the deal. You can get to day 74. You didn't get that second workout in? You're going to say you passed? Then look yourself in the mirror on day 75 and tell not only that app, yourself, and then, because that's what's tough about the Instagram. You can't be lying on the posts. People are going to figure that shit out
quick.
They're going to figure that out. So, and that's the thing is I'm not, there's no way that would ever go down that road. You know what I mean? So I'm really looking forward to this challenge. I'm really excited. It's in gear. I'm pumped up, 100% sober, I'm nervous, excited, all of it. You know what I mean? And believe it or not, there's a lot of people that reached out to me and they're like, good luck. I can't wait to see you when this is done. It's just good. My girl's on board. It's just good. And, Stevie's hopping on. I think he's starting he's on 12-hour days. He's getting screwed right now, but he's going to get in on it, so that's the thing is, and I feel like that, we've talked about this before. Even if one person takes something away from this podcast or takes something away from an Instagram post, we did good. Yeah. We did good. You know what? We don't have 1,000 listeners an episode. I'm okay with that because the ones that listen message us, like our stuff, and text me on the side and say, I love the episode. Like I still get that. And it tickles me pink every fucking time. Cause I'm just like, yeah, I'm having fun with my bestie. You know what I mean? Like, this is fun. I get to have a conversation and you guys just get to tap in and see what it's like. Basically, it's like you guys are the government wiretap and you're just hearing, me and Silk's conversation over the phone. This is all this is to me. It's FaceTime. And I love it.
Yeah, I actually had someone talking to me the other day, and he jumped on, followed us on Instagram, started listening to a few episodes, and he was like, you guys are all over the place. Hockey, then you're talking about the kid and blah, blah, blah. And he said, but you guys are hilarious. And I was like, yeah, bro, it's not like any other podcast. There's no script here. I said, if you want to know what our podcast is, it's two boys just catching up for the week. Just chatting about puck. And he's like, yeah, that makes perfect sense. I said, yeah, we just posted online.
I mean, I'm pretty sure we nailed men behind the mitts. Like, you know what I mean? Like we're a couple beer league buttes, trying to find our way through life, starting a family, figuring out life. You know what I mean? Like this, and not only do we love hockey, but we get to share a little about our lives. And then we get to talk about hockey, which is one of the best things on this earth. You know what I mean? And I can't wait to talk about hockey. Speaking of hockey, we have an awesome guest today on the pod. I can't wait for you guys. Anthony from Bladetech is joining us again. And we've got some great preseason talk. We're going to catch up on the company with Anthony. And I'm just looking forward to having a good conversation. We haven't got to talk in a couple months just because hockey season's been out and, he's doing his business venture and we got our stuff going on. And I know we're going to get the lives back again. I can't wait to get the pregame lives going.
Yeah, so it's a blast.
Yeah, it's going to be a good time, man. And I'm really looking forward to
be interesting to know Pink Whitney this season. Well, first half, huh?
First half of the season for sure.
Okay,
and that's the thing. Well, I don't know, man, because that's something I would, like you said, you might want to keep this going. I did the sober thing for a year. I gave up the booze for a year. And that's what and you will learn, like you'll learn a little bit. Like you're different now because you're not like with the core group of people that were here. You know what I mean? When I stepped away from that, I lost some friends and things, and being sober will show you a lot. It'll show you a lot, not only about yourself, but the people you associate with and the people that you think are friends, like you will absolutely learn a lot. Absolutely learn a lot. It's and it puts a smile on my face every time I think back to that time of life and to think how much hate I caught and people just like, you fucking lying. I seen you at the bar. Yeah, I was at the bar, but I wasn't fucking drinking. Like it's called self-control. Like it's not that fucking hard.
Yeah, just because you don't drink and party doesn't mean you can't go out and be social.
Yeah. So, but you know what? It's funny. I learned that when those people gave me that shit and calling me a liar. I guess I'll just remove myself from the bar and you won't see me at all.
Yeah, fine. Okay.
And that's what I did, and that's one of the best decisions I've ever made. Now I did start drinking again, but totally differently than I did before.
Yeah, it wasn't to black out.
Yeah, because that's my problem, and I have no problem admitting that with booze is I don't know how to casually hang out.
That's why I don't know. So well, I don't drink. I can't have a beer with dinner. I drink to get inebriated.
I will. If I'm drinking, I skip dinner, so there's more room for booze. Okay, like that's my
not eating today. Problem. I'm blacking out with the boys.
Yeah, man, and like that's my problem, and that's a lot of people's problems. But I recognize that because and that's the thing is I like waking up and not being like having that, not only a hangover, but the anxiety of being like, who did I talk to last night? What did we even fucking talk about?
Oh, that's the worst, especially. I don't want.
Then you look on Snapchat and then you just see yourself out on the dance floor looking like an absolute fucking goon. And you're like, I don't even remember that band.
That was my bad thing.
Oh, I love dancing.
Whore. I would. Different girls dancing all the time, and I just look back and I'm like, man, what a piece of shit I was.
Crazy, right?
Yep.
But that's important. Growth is important, and that's something that we've both tackled a lot. And you starting your family was I've seen tremendous changes, and I'm not going to say it was the best thing that ever happened to you.
Like, and that's honestly, it sounds cliche, but like saved my life.
Yeah, no joke.
Some spiritual shit, like, blessed me. God blessed me. Whatever you believe in, like, I was blessed. Like, I was in a deep hole. Every night of the week we were getting inebriated.
Yeah,
every night. Yeah. We treated Monday like Saturday. No, yes, and like like I was waking up in random people's homes.
So like I don't know if you remember this time in my life. So this was before I had knee surgery on my right knee 4 years ago now, and I was out of work. I was on short-term disability, and this was at a point in my life where I look back on it now and I was like, bro, you could have been in the gym every day. I was off for 3 months rehabbing my knee.
On the cod heavy too?
Cod heavy, long, 8 hours a day, easy. And I would drink every single day. You met me at Boston's, you, Mark, Warren, like we were somewhere every night of the week. I had my budget. I was like, I got $40 to drink because I was on fucking short-term disability. I had all my money mapped out for 3 months. And I was like, I got $40 today. I got $20 today. And that's what we did. And instead of taking a time in my life where I was injured and I should have been focusing on rehab, getting healthy, I was destroying myself. I was destroying my body even more than I already had.
Yeah, it's wild to think about.
Isn't that crazy? When I look back at that, I was like, you were an absolute goon. Like you were wild. Like, it's so crazy. You know what I mean? To think that was only 4 years ago.
Yeah.
It's just crazy how the changes come and they just keep coming, and it's wild. Like growth is a fantastic thing. When people say you change, it's like, yeah, you're supposed to. Like, I don't get that. Like, yeah, I did change. Didn't you? Like, you don't have different goals and priorities from the time you were 21 to now in your 30s. Like, how do you not change? And this is not coming from a high horse place. I'm a fucking moron. Okay. Like, and this is just something that you're able to recognize in yourself. And I think that's the biggest growth, is like the personal and just being able to recognize that that's my problem and this is an issue. So I just steer clear of it, and that's not only with alcohol, but just different people, different things in your life, to steer clear of it. It's like when they say you go to rehab and all you do is you come back to your hometown, you're going to fall right back in. You're going to relapse. You're going to get right back into it.
I was just thinking that. If you
go to rehab and change your life for whatever it is, alcohol, heavy drugs, whatever, you don't come home. You can't come home. And I've had this conversation with different people that have been through it. Like, you can't come home because guess who's still here waiting for you? The same people that fucking sent you there, bud. So it's like, yeah, it's great. You did great. You recognize the problem in yourself. But if you go right back to the person who's literally handing you the drug and you think you're going to hang out with them, it's not going to end well.
Yeah. I've had moments where I'm like in that mode, like, yo, I'm trying to go out. I'm trying to like do the damn
You're trying to party.
Thing.
Yeah.
But because I've moved, I know nobody. I just dealt with it and I did my own thing. You know what I'm saying? You kind of get over it quicker. And I'm glad. I'm so glad, because if I was back home, it would have been a simple text. Where are you at? And I would have been
not even. They're probably at the bar.
Yeah, I would. Exactly. It was at that point where back in the day, like, we weren't even texting. I would just show up because I knew you were there.
Yeah.
There's only so many places we go. And if you're somewhere new, you're going to shoot me a text. Hey, we're here.
Yeah.
Like, so the not going back home, that me moving was, after having the birth of my son, moving was the second biggest thing in my life that's set me up on a path to like success, I would say. Yeah,
definitely. I agree. It's a big step. And it's the same thing with me getting my own house. I've been renting rooms for literally 10 years.
And not just renting rooms, but renting rooms with friends, which all
renting rooms with friends who
you get home and they're like, hey, we're having people over, we're going to drink. Okay. Or something like that, right?
Yeah. So, it finally having my own place and, just coming home to it and being like, this is what you work all day. This is what you've worked a long time for, and just having that. And it's like, I'm not leaving here. You know what I mean? Like I get here, my dogs are here, this is my happy place. And luckily it's a low key blessing that my girlfriend is a bartender, but she works at a bar that I absolutely hate. So I have no reason to go there. You know what I mean? Like I've got because if she worked at, let's say Port, I'd probably be there Fridays and Saturday nights again, but since she works at a bar that I'm not a big fan of, no disrespect to the bar or the owners or anything, it's just not my cup of tea, So it's like, I'll just stay home with the dogs and build that relationship, or, you know what I mean? Like now it's like, now I'm hoping I can read or save that workout for 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock at night on a Friday. Now I'm going to lift, So there's different things I can fill that time with.
Your chick's going to come home and where are you at? You're on the couch, feet kicked up, the pup sleeping next to you with a book in your hand. And how is that mentally going to affect her? And that's what I'm worried. I'm excited about, like now, same thing with me. My chick's going to see me. I'm committed to this. She knows I've been all about working out, but now it's on another level. And now I'm like, yeah, babe, sorry, I'm not going to watch a movie and I got to catch up on this book. I got to get my pages. You know what I'm saying? Like she has the dedication there. And I'm hoping that probably won't. She'll probably say, fuck you. I'm going to watch my show then. But you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I laughed. I started laughing and all I had in my head was me on the couch with a book, the dogs, and then Laura coming in and just being like, oh my God, you've never been so hot. Like, because I have like, you know what I mean? Like, I just saw that in my head and her waking me up and be like, come here, like you big old. And I'm just like, I didn't even read. I just put it out.
Got you.
Man, that whole thing just ran through my brain while you were talking. I was like, but yeah, man, so many aspects of this. Super excited.
Positive, right? Nothing but positive changes that can come from this. I'm excited.
And I think we've got 4 or 5 people that are doing this with us just because they saw the post, which is fucking awesome that they're jumping in.
Tag us on your post.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you're making posts on Facebook or Instagram, tag us. We'll share it. Join in. We can do this together. We can do this all together. It's a big community.
When you have the accountability, when you have the friendship, when you go through something together, it's always a little bit different versus alone, just like when we used to crank out the gym together. Those days were scary. I miss those days, bro. But
like
those workouts,
things from that, you get the push, like, damn, he did that. I got to step up. And also like, oh, if I fake, like he's going to know.
It's a big
deal. It's not just like,
it's
because a lot of times people do look on the outside for acceptance or positive feedback. And so like, if you're fucking off and you're doing it with someone else that's on a different level that you should be at, they're going to call you on your bluff.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's huge. That's real huge. When someone else besides yourself can call you out on your shit, that's huge. Accountability is,
Accountability, mental discipline. That's what I'm taking from this. Looking forward to it. If you guys want to join in on the 75 hard, tag us at Men Behind the Mitch, hashtag Men Behind the Mitch, hashtag 75 hard. Do that on
it's never too late. Never too late.
They've got several 100 million tags under 75 hard. You know what I mean? Like a lot of people have taken this. A lot of people have changed their lives, transformed their lives just because of a challenge. I feel like I'm selling it. I'm not. I'm just really bought in. I'm really excited about it. And yeah, man, I'm excited to see the results for not only myself, for you, the people that are joining in with us. Shout outs to Shelbs, Steve, Meg. I think Meg's gonna hop in. And it's just so dope to see these people because they're just buying into something isn't very important to me. And I like that we can do that with our friends. So here's the 75 hard, bro. I can't wait. Let's jump into this interview. Yeah, bro. I'm feeling so beefy. Like
I'm large and in charge.
God,
you're gonna shed some pounds. My biggest thing, just real quick before we get off this, is the diet. Like I don't have a specific diet. It's intake. No sugars, no sweets. I'm not doing none of that.
Yeah, shit, that's big for me. Is no additional.
I'm already I'm 6'1", a little slim. I'm at 209 now, which is huge because we were talking 215, 220 is a goal for me. So I need to make sure with me working out twice a day now that my calorie intake is even lower.
Yeah. It's funny that we have the same exact goal and we're coming from 2 different spectrums. You know what I mean?
We both meet at 220, 250, bro.
Yeah, I'm real excited. What did you weigh yourself? Did you want to disclose your weight now?
Yeah, I'm 209. I weighed my first day. I'm not gonna weigh every day. That's a mind game. I don't got time for that shit.
I weighed yesterday, and I will be weighing on day 75 because those numbers aren't it, guys. Even if you lose 10 pounds, you can lose 6 inches off your waist and only lose 10 pounds. Your body is a machine. It's very different. Muscle, fat, everything comes.
And muscle weighs more than
muscle weighs more than fat, brother.
Exactly. So if you're putting muscle mass on because you're working out twice a day now, you're gonna it's not.
So let me do this quick recap. So you're at 209, goals 215, 220.
Mm-hmm.
I gained a little bit of weight. You know, I'm sitting at 249. Not too bad. Only gained 9 pounds. Not terrible. Since literally the last time I weighed myself,
3-4 pounds is water weight. We know that.
Yeah, I was nervous. I was like, bro, I might be over 250. Like, I was nervous, but I was like, Mom, my pants are still baggy. My shirts are baggy. Like, I'm not 250, you know, and I could tell, but just by my body composition. And that's the thing is I'm really in tune. I know you are as well. But my goal, I'm at 249. A fantastic super duper goal. I don't know if it's doable without absolutely murdering myself, is 200 pounds, but my happy, where I would be extremely happy, is 215, and not just hit 215, but maintain 215. Like, I really want that to be my lifestyle. I've been down to 220 before, 36-inch pants, you know, extra large tee still. I got the big chest and the big shoulders. I know I'm going to be an extra large tee. I know that's good. I know I'm not getting down to a large, you know. These are just things
when it's a very tight up top and loose down. Absolutely.
So with those weights out there, I'm excited. I took some before pictures. Was not excited about those. I will be sharing those when this challenge is over.
Yeah, I took before. But yeah, too, man.
So I'm glad before I did pictures. That. Yeah, took before pictures, so I know what we're working with here. And we're gonna roll right into it. But all right, guys, this is gonna be like a 2-hour podcast. Without any further ado,
let's get Anthony in here. Yeah.
We're jumping into Anthony. All right, guys, hang tight. Didn't have to. All right, guys, we are back. We've got Anthony with us from Bladetech. Brother, it's great to have you back on the pod.
Great to be back.
Big cheesing down there, man. We always have a good time talking, man. How are you? How you doing, brother?
Doing well, guys. How are you? Thanks again for having me. I mean, I appreciate the invite as always. It's always great talking to you guys.
Absolutely.
It's been a while. We took the summer off, so glad to be back and glad hockey's back.
Yeah, I'm glad we got you in here right after preseason, right before season starts. Before we jump into that, Anthony, throw out your tags, throw out your IG, let them know.
Absolutely.
Let them know where they can find you and find your killer product that we're going to talk about again.
Yeah, so if you guys haven't heard of us, Bladetech Hockey, we're out of Toronto. We have created and invented a flexible skate blade that cushions impact on your knees when you're skating, but also gives you a speed boost. Scientifically proven, we gave players an average 5.5% increase in speed. So it works like a hockey stick flexes and whips to launch a puck. Does the same thing for your feet every stride that you take. So you can find us Bladetech Hockey on Twitter, on Instagram, on Facebook. It's all Bladetech Hockey, bladetechhockey.com, and definitely follow because we're doing a ton of giveaways. We're doing a ton of stuff. I got a pair right here. So I'll show you. This is one of our black armor pairs.
Man,
with my name in it. And the skate. This is shout out to Gooby Customs. We'll talk about it.
Goob. I was gonna ask if Goob did that, man.
Goob did this. So I said to him, I gave him my skates. These were just black, like low end Bowers, and I said, Gooby, I want people from 3 rinks over to see these skates when I'm skating. So I haven't used them yet. I'm gonna use them in the next couple of weeks. I can't wait to hear what I'm gonna hear from people when the chirps that I'm gonna get.
It's so exciting, man. I love it. And Silk over here tried, tested, approved of the Bladetech blades. Been rocking them since he got them.
That's right.
Yeah, I'm no pro, but I take pride in calling myself a beer league beauty. And I'm telling you, I notice a difference. Not only am I not at the shop as often getting sharpened because of the blade is so strong, the longevity on my shifts, I'm not as tired. Third period comes and I'm ready. Let's go. I feel it. And
nice.
It may have been mental, but because I heard the scientific fact, but ever since I worn them, I feel like I've got to step on the defender. So I 100% love them. I keep my little flyers in my bag. When people see my blades, I'm like, yo, check it out. But for real, I think, Anthony, you should just name drop it's in the NHL. If anyone doesn't know, NHL players are wearing these blades, right?
Yeah. So we've had, and I was going to kind of talk about our growth over the past couple of years. We actually grew during the pandemic, which was crazy.
Fantastic.
And, we got into the NHL. We already had most of the New York Islanders players, but there's always players going in and going out. So anybody new coming into the island, they were getting on the Bladetech because the equipment manager some of the things you said, like doesn't have to sharpen them that often and stuff like that. He loves them. So any new players coming in, if he can get them on them, he will. But we expanded. We got a couple of players in the Philadelphia Flyers this year for the first time.
Nice.
Bouchard, namely. Rask on Minnesota Wild. He's rocking them. We got Akil Thomas in LA. And Victor Arvidsson as well, who went over there from Nashville in the off season. So,
man,
and then we've got a couple of full teams, AHL Norfolk Admirals.
That's close to me.
Right around the corner.
I've seen the Admirals play before. That's fucking awesome.
Yeah, so they did a full order. So a whole team is going to be rocking Bladetech, or at least 3/4 of them based on how many they ordered. So we got in NCAA, United States Air Force is new this year, the entire team, Princeton, and we're getting an OHL Erie Otters. So
man, congratulations, bro. Like that is
it's a takeover.
The pandemic.
It's a takeover. Let's go.
We're trying. So the word's getting out there, and now this is the kind of the first time in the last year and a bit that people are starting to come to us and be like, yo, I heard about you. So and so was telling me all good things. So we're really excited and we're really busy. We got a ton of stuff going on. But we're trying to keep it going and making some great partnerships.
That's awesome, man.
So we got a couple of partnerships too that we wanted to share. Last year we were sponsoring the NWHL, which was the women's professional National Women's Hockey League.
That's dope.
It was cool. Like their final weekend and stuff was on NBC Sports, so it was they're getting a lot of exposure. They're signing a deal with ESPN this year, so they'll be on.
That's huge for women's hockey alone.
Yeah.
Fuck yes.
There's been a huge, this is across all sports. There's been a huge influx of spending and media in women's sports. So we're partnering with women's hockey and basically we're supporting all of women's hockey because we did that the NWHL, which now just rebranded to the PHF, which is the Premier Hockey Federation.
Okay.
Because they're like, no, these aren't like good women athletes. They're good women hockey players. They're good hockey players. So they took the women out of the name. But we also
I'm a fan of that. I'm a big fan of that.
Me too. I like that.
Yeah. So it's a professional league. Because there's also with the whole let's call it letter movement, LGBTQ. There's some other ones that I don't remember off the top of my head.
It's extensive now.
But some people don't identify as a woman. So it's pretty progressive and taking that out of the league and just having this Premier Hockey Federation. So that's really cool.
I'm a big fan of that because this is a sport that is starting to change. Like I wanted to bring this up, later as far as being progressive and just going and because this is a great place where I think hockey is a welcoming sport. Like this is I mean, there's nothing better than when someone's out on the ice at a pickup or a pickup or a stick and puck, and me and the guys, you can identify who hasn't been out there or whatever, and you just go over and like, hey bud, raise that elbow, keep that blade flat, and they're like, what? And their mind is blown because now they've got a whole
standing
surface
around doing this, right?
Yeah,
like looking around. Who's going to talk to me?
Exactly. Just the littlest things, man, are awesome. And what's crazy is that a lot of people downplay women's hockey. I grew up with a girl who played at Minnesota.
Yeah.
And that's all I got to say, Minnesota. And she is fantastic. Yeah, bro. The speed, the shot, it's like, what? It makes no sense. So like comprehending that and no joke, professional women's sports, the ones that are there, they catch so much shade. The revenue's down, the media's not there. Everything is NFL this, MLB that. Even the NHL is not top 5, top 4.
Oh yeah.
So
after all the college sports, like
you bring in college and like UFC, people have the UFC in front of the NHL, and I'm like, what are you guys talking about? Yeah. So to have that movement and to get those women and the people that are contributing to that league, man, that's fantastic, and you're part of it, so that's fucking awesome.
Yeah, we're very proud to be part of it, and it's something we really wanted to do. We really wanted to push. I mean, we have a kind of our one sentence mandate is to support elite hockey players of all ages, and that's and that 100% aligns with that. But so we're renewing their partnership. We actually just about to sign another partnership for the next season. a renewed partnership with them. But the other side is the other women's group in hockey, because if you know women's hockey, there's two distinct groups, which hopefully they work on in the future. But it's a PWHPA, which is basically the Professional Women's Hockey Players Association. They don't have a quote unquote league, but they play showcase games and tournaments. Right. But this is where basically all of the Team Canada, Team USA women play.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's where the bigger names you're gonna see your Hillary Knight, and Kessel and stuff like that.
Marie-Philippe Poulin and the top players in North America for sure. Also a lot of like Finnish players, Swedish players. They're playing. They're playing in the PW.
That'd be huge. If they could combine, that'd be so huge.
They need to. The talent pool is. I mean, you got to bring them together, and you got to have like the best league, right? That's what I'm hoping happens. I don't know why they're in part, but I don't want to get into that. I don't want to speculate. But anyway, we partnered with them as well. That's brand new, and that was announced last month. So basically, what Bladetech's done is given access to every single women's professional player in North America, has given them access to blades. So we're hoping it helps the game, and it helps them, and even some of them that their equipment and stuff is still on them cost wise. It helps them out a little bit. So
man, how I every time I talk to you and every time I see like you, and because your IG lives are great. Like I love your formatting on your IG lives. You bring in everyone. You just have a few rules. Don't cuss. Don't be a complete ass. And you have a good time. You give away stuff like every live, man, and you're killing it. You got great personality. Obviously, I love having you on the show. But man, to see you continue to take that to the next level, and what I was getting at is how is this not talked about on NHL Network? How is this not talked about on ESPN now? Like, you know what I mean? Like this has got to be. This is something that I feel like you got to get one line in there, and then people are gonna be like Bladetech, and then you know what I mean? It's just I feel like it's so close to having that nationwide exposure. Yeah. Or here in the States, I should say anyway, you know what I mean? But like
we've had a couple articles back in 2017 with like Globe and Mail, which is our big, business publication up here. But yeah, we're working on getting it into, TSN, which is, the huge network, sports network here, and Sports Center as well. And we're working on that. So it's only a matter of time. But that's kind of working with somebody like Gooby, who's starting to get exposure in the NHL and the work he's doing. And have a look out in the next couple of months. We're doing some very top secret projects for some A-list celebrities. So not hockey players, but A-list celebrities that love hockey. Just stay tuned for that. Stay tuned for that.
So awesome.
So yeah, it's only a matter of time, but you're absolutely right. We're pushing. We're always doing the same job. We're always spreading the word, getting it out there, and it's in terms of the business, it's going extremely well. So it'll be a matter of time before there's some interest and be like, and some executives or story writers can be like, what's going on up there?
Yeah, no joke. And how long have you been at this again? How long have you been at the helm?
So we just finished in June, the end of May. It was finished our 6th year in the market, basically.
Yeah.
So but as I said, the last year and a half or so, the business has really taken a turn and really elevated. So we're excited. It was like a lot of hard work for about 4.5 years. Yeah. And then it's still a lot of hard work, don't get me wrong, but now, reaping the rewards and benefits but it, with more money, more problems, man. Like it's a real thing. It's like there's a million other challenges now to solve. So
in the middle of the pandy. You know what I mean? You're blowing up in the middle of the pandemic. That's big. Silk, you had to look on.
Yeah. I just wanted to backtrack a little bit more, just so we can kind of help out some guests that don't know anything about you. You guys aren't brand new. This is a new thing. Why don't you fill people in on how we got to the point where we're at with the blade that we have? Because we know you went through some stages with different designs. Yeah. Why don't you fill people in on how you got to the point where you're at, to where you are seeing the scientific 5.5% increase and all that stuff? Why don't you let them know?
Yeah, cool. So a little bit of the development of the technology, I guess, is what you're getting at. Yeah. So this was created as a school, as a university engineering project. My partner Jeff, who's the inventor of Bladetech, the technology, and started the company right out of school. He was looking at hockey skates, and he was like, you know, he's looking at, let's say Bauer, for example, they have $100 skates, $1,000 skates, and every $100 increment is a better skate. And he was looking at that and he's like, you know, where's the value added? Like, what am I paying $100 extra for each level away? And he noticed that the value was in the boot only. That the holder of the skate, like 2/3 of the skate, the holder of the skate and the blade of the skate were the same. So, and arguably, you know, the blade of your skate is the most important piece for your skating ability and performance. So, so he was looking at that relationship. He goes, well, what can we do here with the holder and the blade and the relationship and how they work together to see if we can add some value, add some actual performance benefit? Because it's like, you know, making the skate 5 grams or 10 grams lighter, how much performance benefit does that really give? There's nothing proven. So we started with that. And actually we started with a spring loaded holder. So holder and blade combination. We started with a spring loaded holder. You might see a very similar product out there right now, but basically we had that prototype about 8 years ago. And that's when I met him. I met Jeff at a sports and business conference, and he had this spring-loaded holder, had great on-ice results. It was like he had an ex-NHLer trial it, so it was like good. And he said it felt good, it worked well. The test results were there. That 5.5% increase in speed was already there from that original design and prototype. So it was cool, and I saw him present this, and I was like, "This is great! Like, this is a great idea," is what I said to him. Not a great product; it was a great idea. I said, but as a product, I said, this is way too complicated. You're adding weight. It's a lot heavier because you put metal spring into the holder. And then you have to fasten it. If anything breaks down, you're gonna have a huge problem. There's too many moving pieces. You get water in there, things rust, all these issues. And I was like, this is a great idea, but can we do this in a much simpler way? So fast forward, he went back to the drawing board, literally redesigned a blade that flexes, so the blade motion in the holder is exactly the same as what he was getting with the spring, but with no other pieces. So we actually introduced a flex point into the steel. So for those of you trying to visualize, it's a front there, and you can go to our website, and the first video shows you exactly what we're talking about. This is actually a still from that same video. So basically the front of the blade flexes up into the holder a couple millimeters, cushions the impact, stores that energy. As you extend your stride, it'll whip back. So did that. Then we did third-party testing. We took that product, we're like, okay, this should work the same. Let's send it off to someone who does on-ice combine testing. So the same company that does the on-ice combine testing for all the NHL, AHL, major junior teams. We said, hey, here's our blades. Prove, because proper scientific studies is not proving something works, is proving something doesn't work. So I want to repeat that. So when you're supposed to study something or test something, you have to try to make it fail. That's the goal.
That's the goal, is to make it fail.
Not big, but a lot of people do studies and try to make something succeed, and it's a wrong way to do it. So the proper scientific way to study something is, hey, we think this does this, prove it wrong. So we gave it to them and says, we think this makes players faster, prove us wrong. And they came back with the results and said, it's right. And it makes players about a 5.5% stronger. So the results were the same as what we had on the original testing. And it was just average across all the players.
Simplified, though. You're new. You got in there through the ideas of Jeff. Jeff is like, well, these are good. This is good input. You know what I mean? You guys team up, and now you got a lighter, more simplified product where you're not involving the Tolk. You just got the blade.
Yeah, it's simplified, and not only simplified in terms of how it works and everything like that, and the, you know, the scientific way and the product side in terms of, you know, there's not a lot of moving pieces. So the only thing that can happen is a blade can break, but any blade can break. So it's not, you're not adding, there was no trade-off basically. So versus the flip side of, but then the market side, and this is the reason why we've taken off, is because this has access to everybody with skates. So you don't have to change anything. Everybody's can already change their holders. When we started, there was one. Bauer just released their quick release holder. Now there's 3 quick release holders on the market.
And for those of you who don't know what a quick release is, you can literally change. You'll see it. You might see it on sometimes they show NHLers on the bench. They'll put their foot up. Trainer just grabs the click. You know, it's just a button, basically a pull trigger. Pull it, blade pops out. You literally pop a new one right in. You can do it in between a shift. It doesn't take any time.
There's no set screw.
It's so user friendly. You know what I mean? And it makes so much sense to be in the NHL where guys like, like OV or McDavid, they want new tape, they want dry gloves. Why not fresh steel? Yeah. And like you said, the trainer doesn't have to sharpen them in between periods or anything like that. We can do it right now. Like it's a no-brainer.
I got a great Ovi story. So Ovi, early on, so all these guys, every player minimum has 4 sets ready to go,
right?
Plus 4 sets backup. So you're talking 8 sets at least per guy. Ovi uses 6 sets a game. He changes in the middle of a period. So he'll go on, he'll play for, in 10 minutes, he'll play 3 shifts, 4 shifts maybe. And then he'll come off and he'll put his legs up and the trainer will go boom, 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 done. In less than 30 seconds, he's got
while he's having a swig of that old Dr. Pepper.
Yeah.
Getting the fresh blades, just taking that pepper down, man. That's so wild, dude. 6 sets in one game.
Yeah.
So if there's OT, you better have all 8 out there.
Oh yeah, because in the intermission he'll have sharpened a couple of them, and there's always some ready to go, no question.
Man, I want to see, like, I've been to a locker room before, and seen the player aspect of it, how everything's hung up, and literally anything you need, dry towel, dry gloves, they got everything labeled. I wanted to step out of that and get like a trainer's, like a equipment manager's perspective, and just follow that fucking chaos, because he knows where every stick is. He knows apparently where every set of blades are. Like that's so much. And then not only that, but who's out on the ice. He's aware of what's going on.
Yeah.
While looking at this guy's skate, he knows who's out there in case someone needs to. Man, you talk about not all heroes wear capes. Some wear tracksuits. You know what I mean? And those guys in the sport that in the NHL, those guys are so important, not only to the team, but I mean just to each individual player. It's incredible.
Yeah, dude, for sure.
Yeah, they really we work hand in hand with them. That's how we started. Our first customers were NHL teams. So therefore the equipment manager, like that's the first people we were selling to. And we spent a lot of time with them, and when they roll through Toronto, we come and they don't have, they're in the away dressing room, and that dressing room does not look like the home one that we're
right.
It's like they try to make it feel comfortable, and some arenas obviously are better than others, but and they set up shop and they got a full like pro shop in the hallway, and people are walking by, all the media's walking by, and they're sharpening skates and they're taping sticks and they're drying gloves and they're doing everything in the hallway.
Man,
they don't even have and all these things they have to travel with and all this equipment. So they're the hardest working guys in the back end, hands down, in hockey, no question whatsoever. They're there before. Sometimes these guys, if they have a late game, they'll get on a plane at 2 a.m. They'll arrive in the new city at 4 or 5. They'll go straight to the arena and set stuff up so the guys can practice at 10 or 11. And then they go to bed at 8 o'clock. They'll get a couple hours. They're back there by 11 or 12. It's insane. What
that's
these
a whole
guys
new perspective
do.
when you look at it from that way and not a player's perspective. You look at it from that way. Holy crap!
Yeah, we're responsible on here for sure.
Yeah, responsible for so much. That's incredible.
Well, let us know. We can hook you. Like, there's a couple guys we're close with. So I'm sure they would.
We gonna do that
to chat.
Do that for sure.
The season's starting, so maybe.
That's the only toughie, right?
Getting them up for an hour might be tough. Yeah.
Backtracking just a little bit, I want to put this out there. You were saying how you made it accessible to anyone with skates. This is like and from me trying them and everything you've said about the product, it's with anyone with a skate, it's an instant upgrade. Anyone that's looking for that advantage to get to the next level, or just to jump from line 2 to line 3, or just be a bigger producer on the team, or whatever it may be. Yeah. There's not too many things that you can do. Yeah, you can probably find another curve where, you're getting a lower shot if you're missing up high or whatever it may be. But being able to put these blades on and be able to see, not have the knee pain depending on your age, and having the longevity and the speed, like instant. It just bolts right on and you're good to go and you got it. That's crazy. That blows my mind.
Yeah. So you made a great point. And this is what I tell people when people are like, I don't know, it seems expensive. It's like, okay, pause for a second. Look at sticks. Look at the evolve, how the stick market is involved and what you're paying for. And then just think about a little bit in the course of a game, the price you're paying for a stick versus how much you actually touch the puck.
Yeah.
And yeah, you know, for a defenseman in a key situation, they get a stick on a puck and get a puck out, or they make a great breakout pass. And a forward in a key situation that they're you know, their stick doesn't fail them, and they can score because they're in the right spot. But you have, in all those situations, you've got to be in the right spot. You're skating all the time. So basically, what it comes down to is the value added per dollar spend. You could argue there's literally nothing better performance-wise than upgrading your steel.
Absolutely.
Because every time you're on the ice, you're skating. You can't not be skating.
And these sticks are breaking much easier nowadays too.
And they break.
They're lighter. Dude, I'm going through the stick thing right now. So
yeah. And what's their warranty? I haven't spotted a stick.
30 days.
30 fucking days.
30 days. So you're spending hundreds of dollars on a stick you barely use in terms of time on the ice versus time touching the puck. That breaks. If it breaks in 30 days, you're out that money. And where's the value at? Like that's right. This is my question. So where you spend a little bit more money, you upgrade your steel, and it is by far better than what you're getting in your stock skate. Like I guarantee it.
Yeah. Man, you sold me again, because you're just like,
but
like in order to score the goal, you got to be there. Like how do you get there? You skate there. Like it makes total sense. Yeah.
But we warranty it for an entire year, because we want people to have that experience and have the value. There's no value added if it breaks for 30 days and I say, well, you're out of luck. Right. That's not value added. So we really wanted to do not just the product and how it works, but how we do, like what we do as a business is really important. So it's all value add. So that was really important, and these are all decisions that we made, but it's really, really important. So
no, that's a great point about how you touch the game is more involved around the puck than with the puck. There's only one puck carrier at all times. Okay.
Yep.
What are you doing around to get open? What are you doing to get back on back check? You know, it's insane. That was a great point. I never even thought about it like that with this. I feel like an idiot for spending $600 on custom twigs now.
I mean,
dude, that's what I mean. When he said it, I was like, I've played a whole shift where I haven't even fucking touched the puck. You know what I mean? Like,
for sure.
Here I'm carrying a $225 Bauer that's not even touching the fucking puck. You know what I mean? Like, that's so, when you break it down like that, you're almost a fool. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we got to do an infomercial. We got to get out there.
Yeah. Right? Buy now and wait, there's more.
Yeah, like I'm all in, dude. This is fantastic.
That's awesome. Appreciate it.
Let's switch some gears. We love the brand. Loving the jersey. We were talking about the jersey before we got on.
Thank you.
The new Bladetech jersey. We talked about the font. We got to see the lettering again.
Shout out to the guys at Infamous Hockey. They hooked us up with these.
Yeah,
and they're 5-hole jerseys. If you're not familiar with them, we've been seeing their stuff. We loved it, and we're working with the guys at Infamous. We're like, yo, we got to hook up some 5-hole jerseys. We're like, oh, can we design one with you? And they were like, yeah. So we got this one and the red kit back here.
Yeah, that red one's a beaut.
So awesome.
Silk's been staring at that one since you got on. He loves that red, boy.
That's awesome. I'm like, I don't want to do it because I have to, buy them. But I just want to sponsor a team just so I could see a full
That'd be so sick. Yeah. We've talked about that with Silky Mitts and getting a beer league team together. I was like, I designed jerseys.
Yeah, design jerseys. Yeah.
It's fun. It's fun. I love it.
It's fun. It is a lot of fun. And it's not crazy expensive, to be honest. Like, so it's definitely doable. So we'll see.
That's another developing part of the game that you're seeing is there's a lot more companies coming out because how much beer league hockey has grown with the custom jerseys and the tournaments. You're getting some really cool shit.
And I live for like the BPLA's page of these jerseys, man. Like, these guys coming up with these designs, the names, the colors. I'm like, bro, I want to be on a real beer league team like that. Like, it's just like
proper. Yeah.
You guys are dark. We're light. It's like, damn it, is yellow dark or light? I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, it's like I would love to just have a real set again. You know, it's been since youth hockey since I've had a real set of gear.
It made you feel part of the team, right? Like this.
Absolutely. That's what I mean. It brings the camaraderie together. Everyone's, you look good, you feel good, you play good.
Too, when the whole squad is out there warming up and you all match.
Gloves, other teams already scared. Scared.
Oh shit.
We used to do that.
They do this often.
I used to work for a sporting a sporting company that did soccer, Kappa. If you guys are familiar with that brand, the Italian brand, we were licensees for Canada. That was one of my businesses, my dad's business growing up. So we used to outfit entire teams, entire clubs. Like, you know, in the Toronto area, we would do an entire club. You're talking like, you know, 20 teams with jerseys, socks, tracksuits, bags, balls, everything. So they show up to a game and they already half won the game just by warming up and showing up with their same tracksuits and stuff like that. Like it makes a difference psychologically, 100%.
I also think the sweater looks super swag because of that beautiful tan you have going on here.
Wow. I was waiting for it.
Oh shit.
That's why I wore the light movement. So I look darker.
I almost asked. I was like, is there a plan here? Is there a plan? But keeping the tan going in the winter, is this a possibility?
You know what? I've given it a lot of consideration. So it's in the conversation with Botox and
do that brow lift. Always looking excited.
Yeah,
I almost spit that out. Not expecting that.
Yeah, I was
it's just about, you know, personal upkeep and
for sure, man.
Hey, I like it.
I used to fake and bake. I knew you used to fake and bake. Did you never, Silk?
I'm Native American. I just gotta walk outside.
Man, what I did is I just got it to get my gold because I'm half Hispanic, so I turned gold basically.
Nice.
And so I would just get that baseline in there, and then you're good to go. But it was weird when I was tanning. I'll never forget. I went tanning and went to work. They were right in the same marketplace or whatever, you know, right over the shop. Thank you, big words. And and I remember coming into work like straight from the tanning salon, and my boss being like, "Why are you dirty?" Because I was like so tan, like my neck looked dirty, like my
neck, like I know that.
I was so tan. He was like, "What? Why you look dirty?" I was like, "Bro, I'm tan. Like I'm tan." Like just didn't get it. Totally two different things.
Were they it's December? How is that possible?
Bingo. Yeah, I left Palm Beach tan to go right to Noodles and Company. Like here I am.
Middle of a snowstorm. No worries.
Middle of snowstorm, ready to cook.
Nice.
Looking tan back there. But let's switch gears. Let's jump back to the 6th since you were talking about Toronto. I hate to bring it up, but since we got a new season coming up, we got to talk about Toronto. I know you're a big Toronto fan. Yeah. I know you're ready to put last year behind you, but we got to touch on it before we put it all back there.
One last time.
I don't know if you guys caught it or if you remember. So I went on a live about 20 minutes before Game 7 against Montreal. And I said, and I was already pissed. The fact that there was a Game 7.
Yeah.
And I was saying, I was like, you know what, guys? I'm like, this is so disappointing. I'm like, I don't even care what happens in this game, to be honest, because if they lose, it just completes the disappointment. That's all.
Right.
It's just a complete another disappointment. And even if they win, you're like, this took a lot. And they're not like, they're probably not going to win the next one. So I'm disappointed about that. So it was that, but it was like, it was an utter disappointment. I said, though, you know, pre-talk is like the only saving grace was that Montreal, we were not the only ones who lost to Montreal.
Right.
They went on a crazy run, which zero people predicted. I even Montreal fans who I'm close friends with some, they're like, they cheer for them, but they're like, we'll take every day as it comes.
Right.
But I said on that one, I was like, and if they lose tonight, I said, I am not going to be on IG Live for a long time. And I was not for about 3 months. Because I was just like, I did not want to think about hockey. I did not want to talk about hockey. That's how it made me upset about hockey. Like that's how upsetting it was. And I actually saw a tweet today. Tim and Friends, it's now called. It's a show. It's kind of like the Canadian PTI. Pardon the interruption. So it's these guys, they do a sports show at like 5 o'clock in the afternoon every day. And they tweeted today, they said, biggest rivalry in sports. And so you got, you know, Red Sox, Yankees, you got a whole bunch of other ones. I always thought of Colorado and Detroit in the 90s. Love that.
Oh, some great
but
games.
my tweet, those were some of the most entertaining games I think I've ever seen. My tweet was the Leafs and their fan base. The biggest rivalry in sports. It's up there. It's up there because
and Americans don't recognize that. Like that, number one, above the border, you guys are brutal, especially Montreal. Man, their
The
announcers,
media,
everything, they ripped that team to shreds. And Toronto's fan base has been let down so many times. I feel like that's become the new, you know what I mean? Like you're on track right there.
We have crazy stats for as important as hockey is here. How much emphasis is put on it. Money. I mean, it's the most popular or the highest grossing franchise of all the NHL teams by far. And how disappointing it's been for how long. Crazy stats. Haven't made the NHL finals, the Stanley Cup finals, since there's been more than 6 teams in the league. Haven't won a first round playoff series for almost 20 years. Somebody like Mitch Marner has an 18-game goalless drought in the playoffs.
That's unacceptable.
Like these things are just, you're like, holy crap.
Yeah, how does this even happen?
How is this even happening? Exactly. And not because they're not a good team, not because they don't have good players, but it's just the environment here, Toronto and Montreal specifically, is just terrible. It really, really is. And Montreal, I think they did well because there weren't expectations on that team.
There's no pressure, right? There was no pressure on them. It was wild.
Do you think that plays a major role in the player's performance?
I think it's everything. I'm not even like, oh, it's a factor. I think it is the factor, because if you look across the league, across players, across teams, I mean, other than Tampa, basically, every other team is comparable. There's teams that are a little worse, but top line, second lines, all these teams will match up. So it's a matter of how they play in stressful environments, and that's
home being a stressful environment is not good.
It's not what you want. You go advantage, right? That's supposed to be an advantage. And I think the reason why the Leafs won the division, other than it not being great last year with all the Canadian
definitely
teams,
touched on that one, was
partially because they didn't play in front of their own fans,
right?
Though they never had booing after a power play because you didn't score. Like these are real. These happen every game.
Not playing against teams like Boston and Washington. But also, I think played a huge role because you don't get kicked in your teeth a few times that season to kind of bounce back.
Shake it up.
Yeah, exactly.
These cities are great example. Boston's a great example. Why does everybody that goes there play well?
Yeah,
it's the environment around it.
Boston, the locker room too. We've seen that in Washington. Like I have to say the locker room there too. The presence when a player comes in, not only just the fan base, but the way they welcome a player in. Taylor Hall turns into a stud instantaneously.
Yeah. Right. Terrible in in New Jersey. Although he won, didn't he win a Hart in New Jersey?
Yeah. So maybe Arizona, Buffalo, we could say he's terrible.
Yeah, and not good environments right now. Those ones for sure.
Oh God,
Arizona's all right, I think, but Buffalo's
hurting. Yeah. Before we jump there, do you think does Matthews catch any animosity for being American? Like, no, people are just all in on him, or because we're all in on Austin Matthews. Like,
dude scores 40 goals in 50 something games. I'm like, what are you gonna say?
Right.
If he scored 15, then you would hear it. But that dude's performed, like, he scored 4 goals in his first game. So we've been good. Like, so he's done what he's supposed to.
Correct.
Basically.
Do you think these players that Toronto brings in would, let's say hypothetically, be better? Like, would Matthews, Marner be a winning combo on another team out of the Toronto market?
I think they would perform better with better coaching. That's what I think. Okay. So during a regular season, especially last year, I mean, the teams they were playing against were not, like, Ottawa was terrible, and probably going to continue to be. I like their core group, though. I like I love
their core group, man. I
love
young
players. Really, like Brady
fun to watch.
is one of my favorite all around, like, power forwards. Like, there's not too many guys like him anymore. He's like a slightly less skilled, like, not slightly less skilled, but he's less skilled Obi. He led the team. I had him on fantasy. He was great. He led the team the league in hits and shots last year.
Yeah. So energy. He's a ball of energy. And Stutzel's, I'm a big fan of Stutzel out there.
Super skilled.
And to see that bromance, I love a good bromance on the ice.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
to see that, and I remember telling Silk, I was like, I feel bad for these guys because they have so much fun, but they're just not getting it. They're not getting it done as a team.
They're not going to win games.
Yeah. And it's tough because like I'm a big Tkachuk fan. I love his energy on the ice. Stutzel's going to have a hell of a career. You know what I mean? And I'm excited for that squad. But like you said, they're not going to get it done. So it's like, I'm not putting any eggs in that basket, but they are a fun team to watch, though. That core is fun to watch.
Yeah, then they're always trouble to play against because they'll score. Yes. Like, they'll score on their chances. So, anyway, I was saying that, but Matthews and Marner beating up on these teams all year is no big deal, right? Like almost anyone could do that. But I think with better coaching, they would be better prepared for the playoffs, which everybody knows, and everybody that watches hockey, playoff hockey is vastly different from regular season.
Another level.
Vastly different. 82 games in a year. These guys don't try every game. I promise you. You. They can't. Psychologically, physically, you can't give it out your all every game. It's just not possible. So the goal of the regular season is literally to make the playoffs.
And it's minus the injuries.
Make the playoffs healthy. Yeah. Yes. So if you can do those two things, you're good. Or if you can get your the top forward in the league healthy right when the playoffs start.
It just happens to work out
towards your cap. You're laughing. You can pull off some trickery like that. You're good. But that's what I think is these guys, will be mentally and physically prepared better for the playoffs. I don't think the coach is the guy. That's
so Sheldon's got to go.
Well, he just extended, and it won't be that. There's the front office down to Keefe. Keefe is, I don't know if you guys know this.
No, see, I like getting inside stuff like this because I don't know.
Sheldon Keefe is Kyle Dubas's guy.
Mm-hmm.
When Kyle Dubas was the GM of Sault Ste. Marie back when he was in his 20s, Sheldon Keefe was the coach.
Mm-hmm.
When Sheldon Keefe got hired to be the GM or assistant GM, and he was responsible for the Marlies, Sheldon Keefe's the coach of the Marlies. When a couple years after Dubas gets the GM job for the Leafs, the big job, Sheldon Keefe's the coach of the Leafs. This is not a coincidence.
He's
his guy. He just brings them around.
Guy,
It's basically these guys are coaching the team through Sheldon Keefe, and it won't cut it. It just won't.
So what does that give you for a prediction for this upcoming season? Full season, totally different than last year. New division, different divisions. Going to be playing outside of the division.
Yeah, good outside the division, full travel, all that stuff. Still a little complicated because we have a little complicated because we still have some border stuff going on.
Right.
But having to play Boston, having to play Washington, these teams, it's going to be much more difficult than last year for sure. I think depending on how Matthews comes back from his injury, I think he's good for 30-40 still.
Absolutely.
Marner will score a bunch of points because he's playing right next to him and it'll set him up. But they're not as good as they were last year, player for player. Lost Zach Bogosian, which was a big presence on D.
Yeah.
Lost Zach Hyman is
that's a big one.
That guy.
That's a big one.
We were talking earlier about value for dollar spent in terms of hockey equipment, value for dollars in terms of that guy.
Yeah.
That guy's one of the most valuable players in the league to me in terms of what he does.
Yep.
And we'll see. Like the Leafs, whenever he was hurt, the Leafs never really were able to replace him on that top line. So I know they got Nick Ritchie slated in on that top line. We'll see how that goes, but it's just not like for like. It's not the same. So the back end they're a little bit worse. The front end they're a little bit worse.
Expecting a pop out of Nylander or anything like that this season. I mean, I'm a big Nylander guy, and he gets kind of slept on in Toronto.
He does. Well, you got three guys ahead of him. That's why.
True.
Well, and he also he went through that slump too when he was holding out.
It was that year was a write-off for him. So that ruined him that year. He mentally was not ready to play hockey, and then it showed big time. And everybody gave him shit. I'm like, give the kid a break. It's his first contract negotiation. He's still a good player. Like that's where the break doesn't come in at, or understanding the situation. Just like, no, you should play well all the time. But he's because he's the fourth line, he's gonna get favorable matchups, or like the fourth forward of the top guys. He's gonna get favorable matchups on the D end
Yeah.
He's going to get his power play time. And he's going to, I think he played with a lot of confidence last year, and I think that should continue for sure. So I like him. Again, good value for money because he's at 6.5, not like the other guys that are all at 11. So like you're talking almost double. It's crazy.
Speaking of that, we talk a lot about contracts. Like, me and Silk, we're both short-term guys. We like I'm a 3 to 5 type of guy. I like the 3 to 5 year.
And 5 is ranges. Long now, by the
way. Yeah. That's so. Yeah, now I'm like, now I'm looking 2 to 4. It's so different.
Yep. But that's me 2 to 4.
These contracts, these guys getting this money. Who the hell is negotiating for them? Like some of these contracts that we've seen this year, insane amount of money.
Yeah.
For
this 30,
40 points.
Let's talk about the dumpster fire Buffalo. Skinner has one good year.
Yeah.
One. And they give him this massive contract, and that guy's a ghost now. Like and my big thing is like also with goalies too. Like do be down in fucking Dallas. Like
Dallas
is great, and then he's like that's not gonna happen another 2-3 years, guys. He's on the back end of his career. Like how do they? It doesn't make any sense.
No, there's a lot of things that don't make sense, and I think a lot of negotiation, a lot of stuff is still happening on old school terms.
Right.
When there were salary cap was different, the terms were different, the average salaries were different. So these guys, some of these superstars are bringing the average salary up, or the perceived average salary. The average salary is not really increasing because there's a lot of guys that make $750,000 a year.
Yeah.
So it's being disproportionate. It's almost like it's like the economy, like the middle class is shrinking.
Yeah, no joke.
And some of these guys have a good season, and a team is one. There's 32 dumb teams, and one of them is going to be dumb enough to throw the money. That's what's going to happen because they're afraid. They're like, well, somebody else is going to do it.
Right.
You have to build. So the way the league is set up now with the hard cap and all that stuff, you got to develop from within. And you got to be like, you got to keep cores of players together. I'm a big football guy, European football, not American football. I'm a big football guy, and these guys develop football, and these guys develop as kids, like through their teens, and they'll get paid. Like the money over there is ridiculous. But they'll get paid, but they won't likely be poached by other teams because they're like, I don't want to go to that team that has all superstar players, and I'm not one of the guys, but I'd rather be with my friends here because everybody's a good player.
Who's your club, by the way?
So,
what do you?
I don't really have one. I like watching good footy. So the last few years it's been Man City. But if you're not a real fan, like you can't say these things. Right. There'll be a bunch of United fans that'll jump all over me. Anyway, it's crazy. They're crazy.
Yeah, and, I was going to say, they'll be waiting outside for you right now. They're like, what's that, man?
Right now.
Yeah. But you're right. Those guys start young. Like I like Chelsea when I do watch and Arsenal. But great. You see these guys 13, 12 years old, they're fully fitted with kits and they're practicing and
they're
training.
signed to contracts.
Just like pros. Yeah. And so at 13, if you're already in that men's mind state of what you need nutrition wise and blah, 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 by the time you do hit 18 and it's a stud. It's so smart, honestly. It's
but it's bringing those players up together. So the star will be on the first team at 18, but the other guys are still playing together. And then when they come up in the next 5 years, they're all playing together and it's there. So I think NHL teams in general have to start looking at how they draft, how their junior affiliates are, how their AHL affiliates are. I think that's where the key is.
That's huge.
Is getting guys to play together for a few years in the AHL, and then bringing them up when they're ready. Because in the next few years, if you've got a handful of guys that were playing together, for example, Marlies won the is it the Calder
Cup?
They won the Calder Cup a couple of years ago. So a lot of those guys are now on the big team. So it's important for longevity and things like that, because you're only going to be able to add and remove so much. You're not going to be able to, especially Leafs. They've handicapped themselves with 3 players.
Yeah, we've seen it in Washington, especially with goaltending. I mean, we've seen so many goaltenders come from Hershey, and now they're Grubauer, Varlamov, Samsonov. All these players have come through from the ground up, and
Hershey does a great job.
Yeah,
Hershey does a great job for the Caps here, and they're like watching McMichael score that goal the other night. against New Jersey. I mean, that's someone who we wanted to see him last year on the tail end, and
Right.
I think this guy might have a real shot at the roster.
I don't know. I like LaPierre. Right? He's looked hungry.
Dude, LaPierre getting that backhander in there, man. Like, there's definitely
that was a steal in that draft. People are like, why? Who's this kid? Why
we have
dropped? I think it's a steal.
I think we have a good problem talking about Washington. We talked about this before. We are a little. It's crazy how the depth of this team works. You got guys who go from wing to center. You're bringing guys up that are playing big signings. Like, to me, like, you talk about value, Connor Sherry, Daniel Spronger.
Sherry's great. Yeah.
Dude, these two guys that are putting up 20 plus, they're cheap and the energy is always there.
Yep.
They're always there. And that's what you need to push those top lines.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? In my opinion, that's what you see these third and fourth lines. HDH, we arguably have the best fourth line in the NHL.
Yep.
I'll put that on any fourth line.
100%.
And
they bring the energy. When you're sitting on the bench and your fourth line is down there grinding on the forecheck and you get an offensive face-off, bro, you're hungry. You're hungry.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Big time. So that's really cool. And a coach who's going to do that too. So it's not just the players and playing well. It's the coaches like, okay, I got the balls to to sit Ovi's line if these guys are rolling that night. You know what I mean? There's a lot of games. So you need contribution from your entire team for sure.
And the balls from a coach to pull up the young guys too, right?
Exactly.
To get them that experience, to throw them on the third line for a game or two.
Yeah. I feel like the coaching in hockey, in the NHL, is a lot of parity. Okay. The superstars cancel each other out. Goalie is a whole other thing, by the way. Like, how many tandem goalies are there now? This wasn't the case a few years ago.
Yeah.
It's almost
we were doing our fantasy draft this weekend, and we're like, okay, is this play, like, drafting goalies was so hard because, like, are they going to play the majority of the games? We have no idea.
Right.
And there's
who's
very
really going to be
few
getting a start.
Jay prefers that.
Number ones.
He likes a 1-2 punch. I'm a one guy. Give me my solid guy and someone that can come in and win 3 or 4 games. I'll take my one.
Play the back-to-back.
Jay likes the 1-2 punch.
I'm a 1-2 type goalie. I'm a big fan of rotating. And it's not just on the loss. Like, you lost, you're out of there. No, that's not the case. But it's a health thing for me. I like keeping those guys healthy because they are really the most taxed. They skate 60 minutes a game.
Yeah.
They get the most ice time out of any player on the team here. So these guys, you got to take care of these guys. I think rest is super important, especially come playoff season. You know, and when you get to the end of that season, man, you can't be riding a guy who just played your 14 out of 18 games and you want him to start the first series. Like, you can't do that to these guys, And so I'm a big fan of but that's the thing. I feel like you just got to have that talk, and I'm sure they have these talks, but you sit these guys down like, this is how we run it, guys. It's not A-B, it's not 1-2. It's we're going to split it, and so maybe if there's a little bit of a run here, we'll take it into consideration. If we're on 4 victories here, we might keep rocking this and seeing how the energy's going. And you just, I think it's all about how you relate it to the player, in my opinion.
Yeah. You can do it. And as a coach, there's definitely ways to do it. I did it as a coach growing up with soccer, actually, which is more rare.
Right.
But I had 2 guys and I really couldn't split them talent wise. So this is the problem. And this is where this is not what you're talking about is actually a luxury. If you can actually go to the guys and like anyone you can play on a lot of teams, that's not the case. And it's not because both guys are really good. It wasn't a Vegas situation where you had 2 number ones. It's like, it was almost like, well, neither of these guys is number 1. That's I would argue Toronto's that this year.
I was going to ask you about that. How are you feeling about Toronto's goaltending going into the season?
What's going to happen is Campbell's going to be the number 1 till he's not, and he's never played a full 82. He's never been the number 1 guy during a regular season, and he's mentally, I think he's really hard on himself. And you can't be like that during a regular season. There's a ton of games. Right. So if you're beating yourself up after a loss or after letting in a bad goal, guess what? Like, there's more coming right at you if you're going to be the everyday goalie.
Yeah.
So, and I don't know about Mrazek. I don't
so say Mrazek is this go-to number 2. Oh, that was my next question. So
that's how it's going to start. That's how it's going to start.
Yeah. And who knows? Right. Yeah.
And then if there's a string of bad losses and then Mrazek goes in, there's a couple of wins. Like I said, Keith's going to just do. He's just going to play whoever.
He's going to do whatever Kyle tells him to do.
Yeah, it's basically. So
no joke. Let's I want to jump into some hot takes real quick. I'm going to rapid fire. I just got like a couple questions. I just want to see how you feel about them. First thing, Tampa on the 3-peat. Is this real?
Highly possible.
I've seen it. A lot of people are commenting on it. They think it can happen.
I don't.
No?
Harder this year, for sure.
Much harder this year. And they lost some key player. Yanni Gord to Seattle was huge.
Big loss.
Like, he was a big role player. Like, let's go blow and stroke Kucherov and Stamkos and blah, blah. And they got arguably the best goalie in the NHL. But the key guys like
He's in the top. Yeah, we'll talk about that. He was top 10.
Well, you're selling me on this 3-peat. Way to go.
Yeah, he was the only defenseman that almost cracked into my top 10. Like on like we did a top 10 on standard, and he was like, I was like, do I put the head man in there? Like, do I do this, or is it all offensive in my book?
Honestly, like he's just so tall too. Like he's just a massive human.
But this is where we get into that contract talking, like consistency. Can he continue to do it? Because in my eyes, my number one defender in the NHL is Cale Makar. I think he's the next big thing.
He's the future.
I would say the future. He's the future. I would say now, if I want a team to win today, it's Hedman over Makar. I think.
I like that.
I do enjoy watching Makar. Makar handle
talent-wise.
It's dude, the way he tiptoes that blue line with that toe drag and the shot, it is
the confidence too. I mean, when he came in straight from college into a playoff game, the guy looked like a vet. Like that. That's what sold me. Confidence is key.
He's a superstar on the back end, but he reminds me almost like of an Erik Karlsson kind of guy.
Okay,
he's kind of
super talented. That guy ran the league for he was a top point player in the league. Like, don't forget how talented he was. He didn't give a shit once he went to San Jose. He's making so much money. He's making so much. Like, but if I'm Stanley Cup Finals. Okay, you want to shut down the top forward because that's ultimately the defenseman's first priority.
Right.
Which one of those two guys would you pick?
Very true.
That's how I look at it in terms of winning. But anyway, sorry.
Possible 3-peat. Here we go, folks. You heard it here. Second thing, Ovi chasing 99 down here. Does Ovi have a chance? Because a lot of people are talking the decline starts this season or next. What do you think?
I'm quite convinced that he's a Russian robot and that Putin's listening to all the those conversations. That's what I think. So as long as he got a tweak this year and he got an upgrade in software, there's no decline. There's no decline. So but honestly, like no one ever thought, when he was drafted, he was having a great first couple of years. Yeah. No one thought he was going to be here in this situation.
Put up 50.
People thought the decline was going to be 5 years. What's the gap, by the way? How far is he off?
I have to Google it. I think it's 3 something. I think we did the math. It's only 40. If he has, is it that high? No, it's only 196. I'm tripping. Hold on, let me look it up. I said 3 something.
Yeah, no, it's definitely.
I think he has got to be 4 seasons over 45 or something like that.
Yeah, he's got 5 seasons to do it. Yeah. And if he does 4, but here's the thing, back to the 82 goals. Like you got to put the asterisk on the fucking shortened season, killed it.
Yeah. Plus he was there for the lockout. Exactly. He's had so much against him. I think he's at the point
2014. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep, and he's if he does do it, it'll be in less games than Gretzky did it too. I think so. If we look at how many games Gretzky played,
I mean, Gretzky retired at 32.
All right, chill.
And the Ovi's got
I'm good.
He's got the full gray wolf going on out there, man. I mean, he's got the silverback look. I mean, I'm not mad about it.
He looks scary.
And he's only gotten larger. Like he maintains the same body mass, but just gets like more muscular like you said.
Yeah, not larger in the way that we get larger when we're
right.
Not the same kind of. But anyway, so that's what I'm saying. He's getting upgraded parts and software, and I don't think the way the league is now. It's geared towards power play. It's geared towards you can't touch anybody, but otherwise you get a penalty. So he's good. I mean, I don't think there's going to be a ton of wear and tear. I would be interested to see with that going on, and with the season, depending on the Caps do, if they're competing and winning the division or competing for it, if they do a little like Kawhi Leonard. Maintenance. What's the term I'm looking for? When they just sat him for games.
Right.
It was what's the term? Load management.
Yeah, load management.
Yeah. Load man. It will be interesting to see for his longevity and stuff.
I think Ovi wants the cup more than he wants the record. Yeah. So I think if we're making a playoff run and we have a really good chance, we're looking good. I don't doubt it at all that he's like sits a few games towards the end of the season.
Yeah.
We've seen it before. And now with his age, I think for sure he wants the cup more than anything.
There will be, from the athletic trainers and stuff and team doctors and stuff, there will be a push for this. I promise you, across the board, if there's other players too.
And I'm 50-50 on that. It's great, but at the same time, I mean, I'm speaking on my behalf, obviously, but like I'd want to go in with motion, you know what I'm saying? If that makes sense. Like, you know, that's why we saw with like Pittsburgh and stuff before they went into they weren't hot all season. And then the last 4 or 5 weeks they got hot and they go into the playoffs and they're rolling. Same thing with a player, stride, you know, if he's rolling, he's scoring goals, he's on fire, you know, he's putting a point up a game. Maybe we just limit his ice time and he's still playing every game, you know,
it comes in different forms in that point for sure.
And honestly, I'm hoping that we don't have that number one spot. You know, because we always maintain this. We're high up there. We're always top 4, 1 and 2 rotating throughout the season. And I don't like every year we finish in that top spot. I'm not a fan of. Like, get us in the number 2. Get us in the number 3.
I'll take a 4. Spot.
Like, I don't know, man. I get nervous about that. All right, third one is McDavid and Draisaitl this season. Are we going to see? I mean, I don't know how I'm going to phrase this question. All I did was see Edmonton lock in the same team that they've been losing with. They just locked him in. They gave him more money and time.
The signing for Nurse really turned me off.
What was it? 8 million, 8.7 million or something?
Too much. I don't think he's worth that much.
But this was the
Edmonton,
time where
Edmonton fans praise Nurse. We've talked to him. They think Nurse is a great player. I don't think he's worth that money.
He's not a bad player.
No,
but yeah,
he's in the NHL. Of course not. But I don't think he's no way. I think they could have spent their money a little more wisely. They picked up the
Hyman's a great pickup.
Yeah, exactly.
Hyman's a great pickup. Duncan, I was watching the press conference or the interview. It wasn't a press conference. It was the GM. I forgot his name. The guy's an idiot, in my opinion. Just this interview when they signed, because they signed Duncan Keith. That was an early summer signing. I don't know if you guys know.
Yeah.
And this guy had a little Stanley Cup on his desk. And they were asking him, like, well, you know, what do you think about Keith? Because he's getting older and is he going to be worth, I don't know what they're paying him, a few million at least, but is it worth it for you to have him? He's like, when he picked up the little Stanley Cup and he goes, the guy has these ones and you can't put a price tag on that. I was like,
right.
That was like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
That's what you're
and
judging
he was
it
surrounded by studs. Kane, Seabrook.
Dude, that team.
The Crow and that. Come on.
I was like, that's how you're judging. Like, don't get me wrong. Keith was a stud on that blue line. Him and Seabrook was unreal. That team, the Team Canada, but 2010, that was the team. Literally 10 years ago, more than that. And I'm like, why are you basing a guy's future on what he's done in the past? The guy's in his 30s. Do you think, like, the way he was in the past, do you think he's going to be like that in the future? It boggled my mind that these guys still think that way.
Right.
Like, oh, this guy has, you know, he's a legend. He's got 3 cups. He's like, yeah, on Chicago, which was an unreal team.
Yeah.
Come to this shit team where you got 2 players and that's it.
That's it. Yeah, that's it. And we've learned year in and year out that ain't going to do it.
It's a better signing than when Washington picked up Chara. I'll tell you that.
That was He's still, and he went back to New York. Unreal.
Yeah.
Got to finish out the career and then New York. It's
so anyway,
we get to see him.
What was your question about McDavid and Draisaitl?
I would just ask you, what do you think the combined points? What are we looking at? Because they are fun to watch. That's the thing. It says Oilers top line, McJesus, the things they do. The things they do with the puck and the IQ is on. It's godlike for real, you know. And I don't use that term. I don't use that term often, but to watch these guys on the ice and then to not finish it out, you know, like you said, you got to have the whole squad there. But as far as those 2 guys, are you predicting another lights out season? Like, are you seeing big racks? Connor McDavid 100 points? What are we looking at here?
Yeah, they combined. I think they'll beat Gretzky's record for a single season.
Right.
which was 215 points, by the way.
Disgusting.
Which is by one person, which is insane. So
yeah, it's not fair.
Anyway, it was different. Everybody's like, it's a
completely
different
game.
It was
so
different game. It was like, listen, no one else did it, so I don't give a shit.
Yeah, but the goalies didn't even fucking drop. So they didn't. What's a butterfly?
They stood there with pads that were this big.
He kicked at this little puck. Poof.
Those are my favorite.
But then you got to throw it at it. But look at the gear. I mean, look at the trash skates they had. Look at
do you know what Gretzky was skating on with blue holders in his skates?
Yeah.
And but anyway, besides the point, they'll push. McDavid will be over 100, and Dries, depending on how much they play together and what have you, power plays and all that stuff. Draisaitl will push it. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to say 200 points there.
I'm a fan of that. I'm a fan of that answer. Last one here. Flower in Chicago. How are we feeling? The game the other night, flash in the glove.
Yeah, so sexy. I love his setup too.
Yes, Flower is looking good. How are we feeling about Flower over there? Oh, what?
Okay.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh yeah.
I was like, did I go on mute? I didn't know what happened. Yeah. I was like,
no, sorry. Flower and Chicago. I don't know. Because for goalies especially, I got to rate the team, and I don't know a lot about Chicago. I know they've definitely took a turn down, and I think they're rebuilding. Taze is back this year, and Kane has still got it. He's still an elite scorer for sure. And I don't know about the rest of the squad. I know got a couple of good young kids in there.
Seth Jones has jumped on that roster.
Yeah,
I think that's huge.
Right,
for them.
Big signing. I rate Jones much better than Nurse, by the way.
Yes.
Much
especially
better.
The season he's coming off last year, really stepped up towards the last part of the season.
He's developing to an elite defender for sure, and so I think he's going to give him a chance to win games, and I think that's all you can do for a goalie. This is a very press conference-y answer that I'm giving right now. I realize it's like, it's like along with getting the puck in deep and have all four lines going, is like goalie's gonna give you a chance to win games. That's all you can ask for. That's yeah. So I think that's what he's
definitely still got it. He's definitely
still yeah.
He could win.
I think
he could take them to a cup final.
To see him even contemplating retirement because the situation. Now Vegas did do some dirty shit, in my opinion. But like I said, to see that flash of Flower the other night, I mean, my man still got it. He's in my opinion, far from retiring. And I think he could change the direction of the Chicago team.
I think he can be a key pillar in their rebuild. I think that's for sure. I don't know if he's going to ever be on a team that goes that far because he might age out at that point. But maybe it would be important to get a really nice young goalie to work with him.
Yeah.
And get him in the organization and do that.
Flower, fun fact, he's made the postseason every season he's been in the NHL.
Hey, numbers don't lie.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's a good guy you got there. So
the way he was playing in Vegas, to me, and everybody knows the baffle he made and the goal that went in, whatever, is like, but you do 9 things right. And as the goalie, that's the situation, right? That your mistakes are always the biggest.
Always.
But the way he was playing and what he was giving that team, I mean, that team's been unbelievable since day one. And he's a huge part of that.
Agree.
Can't agree more. What you got, Silk?
Yeah, I got 2 questions. We'll wrap this up. First one, are you a fan of Seattle?
No.
No,
kids,
the best answer.
Yeah, the sweaters
when they designed that and they released that stuff, I was like, I want one. I'm a fan of the white. I like white jerseys. I like the white New York Islanders one and stuff like that. So jerseys, yes. Name, yes. Hockey in that city for sure. I think the team's gonna be awful. That's what I think.
Yeah. We talk about
building a team instead of trying to win.
They're building. Yeah.
It was, I know that a lot of the rules changed after the Vegas draft. And so they got a little handcuffed. I don't know all the details, but I know a bunch of stuff that the Vegas GM, who was the GM of the Caps before that, McPhee.
Smart guy.
The deals that he made and the players that he got, like I was looking at a team and every player they were announcing, I'm like, that's it. That's like, it's not the star player from that team, but that would be like the next guy I would pick. Or like he was like the third guy, like guys like Marchessault and those types of guys. I'm like, they were good and underutilized or overlooked in their teams, and he just like picked the best Nate Schmidt, who was on the Caps.
Yeah.
These guys, he like picked the guys at the right times in their careers in the right situation and brought them in. And because the Fleury had kind of lost the number one job in Pittsburgh. So it was like all these guys in these shitty situations on their team were so happy to go there and kind of prove themselves. And he brought that all together, and then, added guys like Mark Stone, Max Pacioretty, and these Petrangelo's here. Like that's studs. That's such a solid team still.
Yeah.
Like
they're so well rounded. Yep.
Yeah. From day one. So I really like how he built that. And I just don't see any sort of similarity in Seattle whatsoever. Yeah. It's too bad. I feel bad for like a guy like Grubauer, a guy like Giordano, who had to go there. So we'll see.
Yeah. After playing in Calgary too. Last question. Stanley Cup prediction.
Ooh. Hard to bet against Tampa this year. It really is. That's tough. I
feel like we talked ourselves into Tampa more.
We did
talk about it. Like we all. Yeah.
I was against it, and then he starts listing facts, and I'm like, shit, he's right.
Yeah, but it's like hey, when that happens. But it's like, can you see them losing? And the answer is like not really. So by default, that means they're gonna win. But I would love to see Colorado. I would love to see it.
Yeah.
We'll see the goaltending, because Grubauer going to Seattle, and we'll see how who's there. Kemper, I think, is going to be their number one.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, I think was stupid. They should have kept Gruby. I think he's a stud.
If they could have, yeah. I mean, he just came into his own. So, but Kemper's not a stud. Kemper's numbers are really good. He had some injuries last year, but there was a period in Arizona, and no one watches Arizona because no one cares. Yeah. But he was lights out in terms of like, they were like one of the fewest goals against in the league at one point. I mean, it was last year, but he's quite good. So I think with a good team in front of him, this goalie he can do the job. He can be the Chris Osgood of the Colorado Avalanche.
I dig that. Yeah, they got Jonas Johansson out there as a backup. That's what I was trying to confirm when I was like, and he has a losing record. But yeah, looking to Kemper for the start, man. But yeah, so Stanley Cup prediction, what we have, Colorado. Big fan of that. Big fan of that pick.
Yeah. I'm gonna go with it. They're so good.
They are amongst the top of my West. Like they are. Like I've got a couple teams. It's crazy. That's what I do enjoy. I do enjoy every team generally, but like I do pull, like Dallas I got a soft spot in my heart for Dallas Stars. Don't know why. I fucking hate the Dallas Cowboys. So why would I ever associate Dallas Stars? You know, it's so weird. I think it's because I have a total bromance for Jamie Benn. Like that's just, and well, used to
Canadian boy.
Yeah. And then, Segs out there, and I love that squad. Colorado's right up there too. That's just a childhood thing. I've always liked Colorado.
Me too. Since they went over from Quebec.
Yeah, no joke.
That team they had, that original team, Sakic and Forsberg and Adam Foote, Rob Blake, Patrick Waugh, like all Hall of Famers. Like it's insane.
Absolutely.
That team. Yeah.
All right, man. Well, we'll wrap there. Thank you so much for joining us. Anthony, do a quick shout out one more time. Plug Bladetech, everything.
Yeah.
Real fast.
So bladetechhockey.com is our website. Everything's there. Follow all of our socials. They're all Bladetech Hockey. Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. We do giveaways almost every week now. We're really getting it out there. If you guys have any questions, shoot us messages through social. We answer them right away. And tag us in your posts, and we'll repost you. Yeah.
Always a blast having you on. Absolute beaut. Definitely congratulations on the growth. And I said, this to the moon, bro. Bladetech to the moon. Like I
love it.
Only place I see it going. It's great, brother.
I love it. Thank you so much. Again, the support has been amazing. Hopefully we can keep growing this as well. I would love to see that too, and love to see this become much bigger. And
super excited for the IG lives. We'll be back with that once season fully gets rolling.
Hopefully we can get above the border. That'd be dope.
Yeah,
dude. If we can do an IG live in person, so dope. It'd be so dope.
Yes.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, man. Absolutely. Well, as always, thanks for joining us, guys. Until next time, be well.
Cheers.
The boys boys from Men Behind the Mitts just want to say thanks for listening. And as always, be sure to follow us on all your favorite social media outlets at Men Behind the Mitts. Brought to you by Silky Mitts Hockey Club. Support the boys at silkymittshc.com.